got some stream going on. So make sure we've got audio, guys. If you can hear me, let me know. Let's see. Alrighty. Wait for a couple people to join us before we get started. And then from there, we will go ahead and build the site. Let's see what we've got here. Going to be building a complete real estate website along with filters, searches, adding your houses, making it so that images are optimized, pretty much everything that you need to have a real estate website for a client or for yourself, whichever you're going to be doing. All of this is going to be done with Astra and Elementor. So from there, we will go ahead and build everything up. Let's see what we've got. Alrighty. Gonna just do a couple of checks just to make sure we're good to go. Just a couple things here. Get that from Astra's website. You can just name your child theme right here, and then download it, and then all you do is upload it as a regular theme on your website, and you'll be good to go from there. So we have our Astra theme and our Astra child right here. From there, we're going to also make sure we install a couple of plugins. We need Elementor and Elementor Pro for this to work. And then also I've installed Insanity because this is going to allow us to optimize the images for a website so that whenever somebody uploads a 10 megabyte file for their photo listings, it's not going to come across 10 megabytes. It's going to scale it down for the web, so it increases the loading time, as well as just makes it easier for it to load on mobile devices and desktops. We don't need those super huge images on the site, slowing everything down. There are a couple more plugins we're going to need in order to achieve this. One is called Advanced Custom Fields. Now, the free version will work. Okay, now there are a couple things that aren't included with the free version that you may need if you're going to do this type of site, and it's going to be the gallery field. So if you want to add a gallery of extra images, then you're going to need Advanced Custom Fields Pro. Now, it's very inexpensive to purchase, especially because it is a lifetime license. It's very inexpensive to purchase if you guys want to have that. We're going to use ACF for this. And then, like I said, if you want to do a gallery field, you can do that. If not, then you can just add multiple image fields and you can pull them in one by one. But for this example, we're going to use the gallery field. The reason I'm not using Jet Engine is because there are a few things that Jet Engine is still developing, and it's just ACF is just more well-rounded and it's more complete, and there's a lot more integrations with other options that we need. So, like I said, ACF free will work. You can download that from their website right here, and then we're going to also need Facet WP. Now, the reason I'm going to be using Facet WP is because this is a complete filtering system. It has everything from sliders, checkboxes, select boxes, even a map filter, which is what we're going to need when we're doing a real estate website. And I found that using Jet Engine and ACF, there isn't a lot of compatibility. So trying to do filters and things like that, especially with trying to do a map filter, it doesn't really work too well. So that's why we're going to be using ACF and Facet WordPress. So once you download this does cost money. You can request a free trial. Down here at the bottom, there is a way to request a free trial. Otherwise, you buy it. It's pretty inexpensive as well. So we're going to go and get started. I'm going to add a couple of different plugins. We're going to upload them. Choose them from our downloads. We have Advanced Custom Fields Pro. I have the Pro version. I'm just going to install this because we want to use the gallery option. And once that's activated, we're going to install the Facet option as well, plugin as well. So we have our Facet WordPress. We have to go in, make sure we download the. I have some of the add-ons that we will be using downloaded already. Let me grab the. Let me grab the actual main plugin for the Facet WordPress, and then we'll be able to install that from there. All right, let's see. A couple of additional plugins that we're going to be using with Facet WordPress is going to be their Elementor Page Builder add-on and then their Map add-on. So if you go to their add-ons here, we have the Map Facet and the Elementor integration. So those two we're going to be using. We definitely need this Map Facet to make the filterable maps, and Elementor integration just makes it a lot easier when we're building with the archive page builder. So let's install Facet WP, and then we're going to install their add-ons as well. So let's do that right now. We're going to add a new one, upload. We're going to do the Facet WordPress map. And now since we're dealing with Google Maps and things of that nature, we're going to need an API key, which you can grab from Google for free for a certain amount of views. I know the views that we're going to be using, they have an unlimited quota. So that's something that you can look into. So we will be using Google Maps. I don't have an Open Maps option at this point in time. So we will have to stick with Google Maps for right now. Alrighty. So we've got the plugins that we need installed. Advanced Custom Fields Pro is going to handle all of our custom fields. Elementor and Elementor Pro are going to build the site. Facet is going to do the filtering, and Msanity is going to be able to allow us to scale down the images. And then we need one more, and we need one to add custom post types. Now you guys can, there's code out there to add custom post types without using a plugin. It's just a lot easier for a lot of people just to install the plugin. So we just need a few plugins in order to get started with our real estate website. All right, so we have our items done. Let's go and add a new custom post type. So we're going under CPT UI, add and edit post types, and we're going to name this house for the slug, houses, and house. So we've got those options. Now we have all of these different items down here at the bottom that allow us to change the title and the wording for the backend of WordPress. All of this we're going to just leave the same. We have public true, and we want to make sure we go down to turn has archive on to true. From there, we can do menu position, so we can actually make it anywhere on this side of the menu. We want to make sure we have true for show in menu, and then menu icon. We can do this as well, so we can add a different menu icon if we want to as well. Now, we're going to need a couple of different things. We're going to need the title, obviously. We're going to need the editor, so we can add a description for the house, a featured image, just so we have that main image. We won't need anything else on this back end. So we have our post type houses over here on the left. We're going to add some taxonomies that allow us to create different types of houses. So we're going to do house type, house types, and house type. We're going to assign this to houses and add taxonomy. And that's pretty much all we need to do for that. You can turn the hierarchical on if you want to, but we are just going to leave that off for right now. Right here. The hierarchical false. You can turn that to true if you want to. Alright, so we have our houses, and we have our house types underneath of here. We're going to go underneath of dashboard, and we're going to go to custom fields, and we're going to add a new field group. This allows us to add the houses group, and from here we're going to put all of our custom fields. So we want to add fields over here, but first we want to assign this to the house post type. So basically this is saying, hey, if this is the post type that's equal to house, then I want you to show all these fields on the WordPress backend editor so we can add all the information that's necessary. And then of course we have a couple of extra settings down here that we don't have to worry about for now. We're going to publish that, and then we're going to start adding some fields. Now, some of the fields, I'm just going to be going off of a real estate website that exists already, and then we're going to add some fields as needed. So, first, we're not going to need to do any like title or anything like that because the address is going to be the title for this listing, but we're still going to need a listing address field. So we will add that later. So we want to put number of beds. All right, and we want this to be, you can do a text number, whatever you want to do for this. I'm just going to leave it as text. Let's do number of bathrooms. And actually, instead of number of beds, I'm going to switch that over to number of bedrooms. I'm not sure why I put beds. Make sure you switch it over in this field name and the field label. All right, then we have square feet for us in the US. So we want to do this. So we want to have a square footage. We want to put the address. And then for this, we're going to drop down from text, and we're going to go all the way down to the Google map. And we'll minimize that. We can add the number of acres. And then of course we have a gallery option that we want to do. Additional images and then text. And then we're going to select gallery. Now, like I said before, a way around this is you're going to just add multiple image fields. So you would just go to add field and make this an image. And you would just do that repeatedly. And it's a little hard to do on the front end, but it's something to way around it if you don't want to purchase the pro version of ACF. So let's see what else we're going to need. We have, let's do the listing status. All right. And this is going to be just a drop down because we're going to have predefined ones that they're just going to select on the back. So we're going to do a select field. And then we have choices. So we want to do active, sold, or under contract. We could do those options. All right, let's see. And then we want to allow null, meaning they don't have to choose one. All right, so we have some basic ones set up here. Let's click update to make those apply to the house types. And then under houses, when we add new, we're going to see all of those different group fields that we just added. So we have the address, number of acres, additional images, listing status. We have all of these options that we can add to the place. So let's go in and add a new house. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the address from a listing over here and add that as a title. We can go in and just add some filler text for now into our description. We want the number of bedrooms to be 3, number of bathrooms 2, 2.5. Let's do 2.5. Square footage is 3,200. Our address is going to be the same one as we saw before. So let's copy and paste that right here. And then we have number of acres is, let's do 1.32. And then we have some additional images. So let's go in our media library and we're going to do some images of the house and select it. And then we have underneath of our featured image, we're going to select the main front of the house right here. And then we have our listing status as active. Now over here on the side we have our house types, so we can add a new house type, and this is going to be a split level house type. And we have like split level, ranch, whatever you guys want to add for your different house types. We have all of those different options. You can just add them as they need to be added. All right, so let's publish this. And what we're going to do now is view this on the front end. And then once we view this on the front end, it's going to allow us to see exactly what everyone's going to see. Let me just add my API key for the, let's see, we'll go to our dashboard, we'll go to projects. All right, so let's view the house. And as you can see, we have our featured image, our title, and our description, which doesn't really help us much because we need some more information showing than that. So let's go in and add some of that information in using Elementor. All right, let's go to Templates, Theme Builder, Add New. We're going to select Single. We're going to choose House Type and name this Single House Template. We're going to just start from scratch. So we have a blank canvas right here. Let's add that featured image that we had added. So we're just going to add a section. We're going to add the section. We're going to go to Style, Classic, Dynamic under the image, and we're going to do Post Featured Image. You can set a fallback if you want to, but we're not going to do that. We're going to make the height of this be a minimum height of 500. And then we're going to adjust our featured image position, doing the center, scroll, no repeat, and cover. So we've got a nice looking featured image section right here. So we need to show people the address. So let's do, we could do post title. We're going to do this up here in this section up here. We're going to go here. We're going to make the vertical line column position be the bottom. So it's over here on the right or on the bottom. We'll add you've got the post title there. We can adjust some of the coloring. Add a text shadow just to make it easier to see. You've got all those different options for adding text shadows. And then we're going to add a little bit of padding to the bottom of our column, just so we have it lifted up a little bit. All right, so we've got that set up. So we have this here. Let's add the, I think we forgot to add the price. Let's go back and add a price on the custom fields. The main important thing that we need to do is add a price on the custom fields. So we'll go to add field, price. We need that. We need to definitely have that. Go back under houses and let's add a price. Now we're not going to include the $sign because we're going to add that on the front end. Let's just add this real quick, and we're going to refresh just so the field is there. So let's go to a text widget, and we're going to choose dynamic, scroll down to ACF, click again, go to key, and click on price. So we've got the price added down there. Let's go to advanced and click before. We're going to add the $sign there. Now the reason I'm not doing it in the field is because I figure why have to go through and always click that? Maybe they can copy and paste it in. It's just easier for less things that they have to enter into the fields. We're going to switch this to a white text color. Make this a little bit bigger so people can actually see the price. And from there, we're going to adjust some of our padding right here. Let's bring this down some. So we have that right there. So people can see that it's the address is right there, and then we have the price right there as well. And don't worry, we're going to make this mobile friendly as we finish up. If you guys have any questions, just feel free to ask while I'm just go ahead and building this out. I was going to make this just a silent live and just build the site while you guys watch and ask questions, but I figured we'd make it more interactive. So we want to now add all the information that we added for the house. Now I'm going to do this in a very different way. So we're going to add, if we go to the edit house, we can see we have a bunch of information here. We have the number of rooms, number of bathrooms, square footage, number of acres, the gallery, and then we have the listing status. So what I want to do is I want to add 4 columns. And from there, we're going to add what we do in icon box right here. And this is going to allow us to dynamically pull in all of that information. So we're just going to space these out. Let's add some padding to this section right here. I usually do about 50 is enough. Let me check on one thing for the houses, because it seems like our API key does not like to be inside of where it is. So we're going to make sure that we have our API key functioning as well, because we're going to need that for the maps. So we have our 4 columns here. We're going to, I usually get my icons from flaticon.com, and I've picked out a couple over here. So we're just going to download all of these as SVGs. I'm going to unzip these, and what we're going to do is we can actually add these as a custom icon font, or we can just upload them as SVGs themselves. So if we go into here, we have our My Libraries. Let's just upload these as normal SVGs instead of making an entire library. So we'll upload SVG. We'll enable this, and we want to do our house, and then we're going to do house type, or type of house, home, and then we're going to dynamically pull in our category that we added earlier, which we can do that. And then we're going to post term, house type. I don't want to link that. We can style this in just a bit. Let's add another one. From here, we're going to do, this is going to be the square footage. Choose dynamic, go to ACF field, and we're going to choose square foot. For the next one, we're going to do bedrooms, how many bedrooms there are. Do the same thing with ACF field, click again and go to number of bedrooms. And then we'll do the same thing with the number of bathrooms. Dynamic, ACF field, bathrooms. So we've got all this. Let's add some styling to this. We're going to choose the primary color. of this one right here. Choose the content, the title. Let's just put that black. We have the description. We can make that a little bit of a lighter color. And we're going to bump up the description size, just like that. Let's copy and paste this over to all of the other ones. So we've got this design right here. So now that we've got that part designed, we need to add some more details. We have our description. Let's do that. So we have all of these options up here. We can just add our post content. And this adds a little bit of a description about what we have. We'll add a title, listing, description. We'll make this the same color that we had before. We've got that set up. And then we have all of the other information that we added before. So we have the gallery, the listing status, and then that should be, and then a number of acres as well. So we want to do the listing status underneath of this text option. So let's just duplicate this. And we're going to make this field be the listing status right there. We can, of course, make this a little bit smaller. And then we can put it right next to the price if we want to by doing the custom positioning. And then we could do the width as well as the width for this one as well. Custom positioning, width, inline. So we've got that option. And then we can check and see where we are with the positioning, and then add a little bit of margin to the left right there so that we have the active. So people can see that. So we've got that all positioned right next to each other. Let's add one more column. And we're going to make this the number of acres. So let's do this. We'll do, we've got the for sale. And we're going to actually switch these two. So let's switch these just because it makes more sense to do the acres as the house. So we need to get rid of that. Go to the ACF field, number of acres. And then we have the listing type here. Post terms, house types, turn off the link. There we go. So we've got all 5 columns right here. Let's do our gallery. So what we're going to do is an image gallery right here. Click that, put it down there. We're going to use a dynamic feature again, ACF gallery field. And we choose the only one available is additional gallery images. Now, I'm not a big fan of the Elementor Pro image gallery widget. I usually use Ultimate add-ons for Elementor, which gives me the masonry option. But just for the purpose of this video, we can just stick to this for now. We'll make this attached to the media file. We'll do a lightbox, yes, and we'll have that there. Like I said, see, this doesn't look as great as it can. So I usually just use the Ultimate add-ons for Elementor gallery field. Change the number of columns if you want to. You have all of those different options. Let's duplicate this listing heading or this heading and go over here to more images. So we've got this. We've got all of these options, and then all we have to do left is put our map. And we're going to use the Google Maps field. Use the dynamic ACF field, and we're going to do address. Now, for some reason, I've got to get my API key working because for some reason it's not working. We're just going to choose a random address for now. And then we're going to update and refresh just so you guys can see it being pulled in automatically. So I know it's not the same address, but for some reason it's not finding the address that I'm putting in. So we've got this option right here. So we can change our zoom level. I usually go down to about 15 or so, just so people can actually see what's around the house when they're looking at this map. And what we can do is we can actually make this into 2 different columns. So if we want to add a new column over here, and instead we want to put our images right here. And then we have our map as well down here. And then what we can do is we can put a contact form on this page so that people can contact them. There's all of those different options. There's also an option that we can do like the contact form up here if we want. But I'm gonna show you how to do a contact form that's going to be really dynamic on the site. So what we're going to do is add a new column over here, which then puts this at a smaller range, so it's easier to look at. And of course, we can change the height if we want to. So we can make this 500 just so they can get a really good look of the map. And then we're going to use the form element for them being able to contact the realtor. So if you've gone to a real estate website, and if you haven't, go to one now. You can go to realtor.com. And then what they have on each of the listings is a way for you to contact the realtor about that specific listing. And we don't need any special code. We don't need any special plugins to do this. Everything's going to be done with just Elementor. So we have the name, email, and then the message. Now for the message, what we're going to do is underneath of the advanced section, we have a default value. Okay, we're going to switch this to dynamic ACF field, and we're going to pull in the address. We're going to go to advanced, and in the before section, we're going to type in I want to know more about, and then put a space. Now what this does is this will make it so that all the person has to do is type in their name and email and click send. It's going to automatically send to the realtor this message right here. Now if you go to a real estate website, and I'll show you the one that I've been looking at, it's got this section right here. More about this property, your name, your email, the phone number, and then I'm interested in this address. So all of this information, very easy to add just by using the dynamic option in Elementor. It's really easy for you to do this. And then of course you can make this a little bit smaller. Let's add this up here. More information. So we have all of this, and then we can even put a background on here if we want this to stand out just a little bit more from the rest. And then we'll add some padding just so it comes in some. And then I'm not really digging this burnt orange anymore. So let's change that up a little bit. Okay, so we've got all this, and then we have the more information. Now we can put the more information up here inside of this section. It's just going to cover a little bit of the house. You're more than welcome to just add a new column. And then what we'll do is we'll put the form right here, and we'll add the, let's see, the column position will be stretch, and then we'll vertical align bottom. So we have that option here. So we could just do that, have the section over here. We could put the more information up here, put that background that we saw on the other site if we want to, just so people have that. And then we can add more information. And then you can always fill this up with some text if you want to do that same disclaimer kind of thing. You can put that there and just keep adding some more text just so it fills it up. I don't personally like the look of this, but there are some who may want to do that, but just showing you guys how to do that real quick. So you've got the more information. The reason there's so much space here is because we have the height of this map. So if we just make that down, it's going to just make it automatically the size that it needs to be. And then we can, of course, change that as needed. So we'll probably have it right about there. So we have our individual looking real estate page right here. All of the information that they need, and we're going to update. Now earlier, what you need to do is display conditions. Set this to include houses and all. So all house types and things like that. It should automatically pull it up for you, and if it doesn't, just set it for your post type, and then just all. Save and close. Let's exit to our dashboard. We're going to go to houses, and we're going to add another new house, just so that we can have more than one house on our site, just because that's a little bit better. So let's do this. Let's add some more information. Wish it was like a speed up option. So 600,000. Number of bedrooms is 5. Number of bathrooms 2.5. Square footage is 6,300. Address will do same address here. Number of acres 6.3, and then we'll do our additional images right here. We'll do a lot. Let's do a lot of images. And then we have our listing status as active. House type. We'll do mansion, just because it seems like it's a mansion with all the settings that I've done. And then we will add the front of the house, this one. And we will click publish. That double publish thing always annoys me to have to change that setting. All right, so we've got our two houses right here. Now we need to make it so people can actually search for these things. So we're going to go under Elementor templates, theme builder. And we have our single house template, but now we need to make an archive template. So we're going to need to do house archive. Create a template. Now we follow these options to do the archives. So let's just select one of the pre-ones that they've got. And we have all of these sections right here. We're going to get rid of this because we're going to use a sidebar. And then we have our posts right here. Underneath of underneath of layout. Let's see what we've got. Let's delete this. Go to archive post, and we're going to add that there. Let's see what we've got. Go to posts, query, houses. We'll do the layout as 2 columns. Post per page we'll do 12. We'll do the image size as full. Why not? Okay, get rid of some of this metadata. Get rid of the excerpt. And then we'll do, instead of read more, we'll just do view listing. Now I know it doesn't show you all of the information that a normal listing website has, but I will show you guys how we can do that in just a little bit. Since we're going to be using this for all of our search, we're going to need to turn on Facet WP. And then we have our listings right here. Let's publish this, add condition, and we want this to be the house archives. So we have this is for our archives. And then what we need to do, just so that this is there, let's go to our pages, and we're going to make a new one called search. Publish that. We're going to edit this with Elementor. And then we're going to have all of our views for our maps and things of that nature. So if we want to, let me see what we've got here for a look for the map view. So this is what a map view kind of looks like on a real estate website. We have all of our listings over here on the left. We have our map over here on the right. And then we have our stuff up here that we can use as filters. So we're going to mock this up just a little bit. Let's go here and we're going to do a 2-column 50-50. I'm going to add just a little bit of padding top and bottom. And then from there, actually that's too much padding. Let's do this. Let's just do a 50-50. From here, we're going to do the post widget. We're going to make these look better. Do our query, our houses, our layout. We can go here. We're going to do 2 columns. We're going to do 12. We're going to turn off the excerpt. Get rid of the date and comments. We don't need that. Turn off the avatar. We definitely do not need that. And then for the read more, we're going to do view listing. And we've got these two right here. Make sure our images are full. So we've got that. And then now what we need to do is we need to add our map over here on the right hand side. So let's go over to our settings under Facet WP. This is something that comes default with. You don't need to have that. I'm just going to delete that, hit save. We're going to add a new one. This one's going to be called map view. We're going to do the facet type. We're going to drop down to map. Our data source is going to be address. So we have the advanced custom fields, and then we're going to be pulling in the address. All of this other options we don't really have to do. We could do the map width and height, of course. If we want to do 600 pixels by 600 pixels, it'll just be a square map. The zoom min and max, and the default latitude and longitude. If you don't have any results, it'll show that. Marker content, you can of course add marker content there if you need to. We're going to copy the shortcode, hit save, go back to our Elementor search, refresh, and we're going to paste this shortcode into a shortcode widget. Click apply, click update, and now let's view our page real quick. There's nothing there because we have to enter our API key underneath of the Facet WP settings. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. I'm going to do that off screen. So don't worry about what that for a second. Save. And then I'm going to bring that back over here. Here we go. Once we do that, let's see, we've got that here, the facets, map view, other data source, none. I'm going to change this to blue water. Mark clustering means that if there's multiples of houses that are really close to each other, then it's going to kind of put a blue icon, and it's going to have like waves coming off of it to signal that you have a lot of them there. So, and we're going to do show current page results. Hit save, and we're going to re-index this. It's always trial and error trying to get this thing to work. Refresh. Did I enter my code? Got the code here. And Facet WordPress needs to be turned on there. Refresh there, and we have our map. So we have the two different options here, and then now we're going to add our drop down so we can actually filter by all of their different features. So just to make sure you guys know, we need to have the map selected, address selected, show current page results. All the other stuff isn't completely necessary. You do have to do the map width and height. That's why it wasn't shown in the first place, because we didn't have show current page results. You can do different looks for the map if you want to. Like this one is Midnight Commander, so that's kind of a cool looking one. Avocado World, I'm sure this is going to be green of some sort. Yeah, so you've got all those different ones you can do here. Currently, it doesn't allow you to add custom looks, so we'll leave this here for now. Let's go back to our facets, and we're going to add a couple of new ones. We want to sort by house type. So this is going to allow us to do maybe like a checkbox or a drop down. But for now, we're going to do drop down. And then we have post types, so we have the taxonomies. We want to go down to house types. And then we have all of this. We could sort by highest count, raw value, things like that. So we'll save those changes. We're just going to go ahead and do a couple of them. Number of bathrooms. Now for this one, I want this to be a slider. This allows us to do, I'll show you what the slider will look like. Slider. So the slider allows us to do a range of certain things. So if you want a range of 3 to 5 bathrooms, then you can use this for that option. So we want to really do a slider for that type. A number of bathrooms. Save that. And we're going to do the same thing for a number of bedrooms. Go to our slider. Number of bedrooms. And then for the most part, we have all of those options here that are there. We can always do more filters if we want to. Like, of course, we can do by price. That's going to be an important one. We'll do a slider for that one as well. We'll go over here to price and hit save. It shows the format here if we wanted to show the format for the pricing and things like that. So what we need to do now is each of these we need to copy the shortcode. So we want to do house type, copy a shortcode, and for here we're going to add a new section up here. Now you could do it horizontally or you can do it vertically, however you guys want to do this. You can do this in an off canvas if you want to. There's a lot of different options you guys can choose from when doing filters. Okay, so we have that here. So this is going to be the house type, number of bathrooms. Let's duplicate that. We're going to put a label on there. Bathrooms. And then we're going to add let's delete that for now. Let's do this. We're going to duplicate these two because we're going to do this to bedrooms. We got the bedrooms. Let's go here. No, Scott, I'm not too big on coding with PHP. Honestly, if it's a plugin that'll do it, I'll probably install it. It's something that I definitely will be learning eventually, just because I need to learn how to do it. And of course, we have our price. So we've got those options up here. Let's refresh and see what we've got. So we've got the any, and then we have all of our sections up here that are going to be showing us right there. Let's go and re-index this just to make sure we're good to go. And then let's refresh. So we have our sliders right here. The bathrooms, let's change the bathrooms to one of them just so they're different, because otherwise it's not going to show. Let's do 3. And then for the other one, we're going to do... We're going to do 1. And then when we're done that, we have our sliders right here. And of course, there's always the way you can just style this if you need to. For some reason, it adds extra padding underneath of here. You can see that it adds all that extra padding. So if you go in and you turn off this padding, it'll look a lot better to do that. So we can sort by bathrooms, bedrooms, price, and of course we have our drop down for the house type. So if we want to just see mansions, mansions will show up, and of course it'll show it over here on the right hand side. And then we have split levels as well. It's zoomed in all the way. So there's that. Then we have the mansions. That one's also zoomed in all the way. So we have that option. It shows you at the top what it's going to be for that. When we click onto this, we have our single builder that we built. Let's see. Same here. It's great to use Elementor. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like I said, I don't know PHP at all. It's very little PHP that I can do. And by that I mean like the most simplest thing that you can think of. But otherwise, the plugins come in handy. I mean, I have a developer that I work with in Canada, and he does a great work, and he's always telling me that I need to learn how to do PHP because, for one, he's tired of doing things for me, and it'll allow me to be able to create more advanced things than I've been able to create so far. So that's his speech for me. So we've got this. If we go back, we have all of our sliders. They work just as well. You can do that. You can reset it. You can do all. So this is how, and I know this doesn't look as appealing as it can, but this is basically a full-fledged real estate website. Now I know we don't have a search like a search bar. You can do the same thing underneath of your facet right here. So you can add a new one and you can make it a search. It works really well. It'll only search on that page. So you won't actually be viewing some really bad looking archives or anything like that. It'll look really nice. Like I said, I know this doesn't look as perfect as it needs to look, but it gets the job done. Like it really does. This is exactly, with a little bit more TLC, having this show this in a nice looking way, really quick and easy. People know exactly, oh, this is how many bedrooms. They don't have to look inside of your description to see how many bedrooms there are. And then of course we have our images over here. Like I said before, I like to use Ultimate Add-ons for Elementor because this is just something it's just the masonry doesn't work that well. But it is nice that when you do the click on it, it will show up in a light box, which is something you need to have on there. And it's got a nice, because you could just navigate through all the images. So that's something you need. And then of course the more information, you've got the name, email, and then I want to know more. And then all they have to do is type in the name and email, and it clicks send, and it's completely done for them. So they can get directions with this map. They can view a larger map. There's all of these. It's basically an entirely complete real estate website from start to finish. Now, if you want to customize how these look, okay, there's a plugin called Anywhere Elementor Pro, and that's going to be your best friend. Okay, I'm going to go into detail about doing that, but basically up to this point, you're good to go for building a real estate website. All of those plugins are the ones you're going to need. And then if you want to stick around to see how to customize this section, then I'm doing that right now. Taking a quick water break. Okay. Anywhere Elementor Pro basically allows us to do what Elementor really needs to add in their Pro version. So they have Elementor has the ability to do these posts, but they don't allow you to change. Well, they do. Some of the information you can change, like obviously you can add some metadata. You can't add any custom fields into any of these metadata options. So you basically have to create something from scratch. So with that, we go over to AE templates and add a new one. This one's going to be single house post. Now, trying to name these so you don't get them confused later on. You just got to figure out a way to do that, because it's pretty difficult. Underneath of the render mode, we're going to go to block layout. Let's do a preview post so we can actually see what we're looking at. 2.5 is one of them. So we'll click this and we preview this post. And we're going to click update. Now we're going to edit this with Elementor. And what we are editing right now is this right here. A single one of these. Not multiples, but just a single look for this. Okay. So this is much easier if you work like in a 3 column. You can actually see like how wide it's going to look, but then get rid of the other columns later. So I know it's confusing, but let's just go in and show you what it's going to look like. Featured image. That's going to be the featured image of the post. Now you see it's not showing up. What I like to do sometimes is anywhere Elementor has all of these fields that you can use. So basically, when you're building it, I would just say to just use these, just because it's much easier and it will actually pull it through their builder. So we have this right here. Let's do a full one. It's just going to put the full one there. Okay. We're going to link to the post because we want to link to the post right there. We're going to enable an image ratio. The overlay, we could do an overlay if we need to. I'm not going to add that. We're going to add the title of the post. So this is going to add the address there. We're going to just make this look a little bit better. Make this black. Bring that up a little bit. And also, like I said before, you can see what they look like here. Okay. You can see what somebody else has thought of to do this. So we can do something similar just so it's a nice and quick, easy view to see what there are available. So that's basically what I'm going to be, quote unquote, copying. So we have this. And actually for the other one, they actually have it really small. So I'm going to delete that. They don't really have a heading for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to add this heading. We're going to make this dynamic and we're going to put this as an ACF field. We're going to make this the price. Add the $sign. All right, it didn't like that. So let's go to AE. We're going to use a custom field option. Just because I guess it didn't like it. Text post field. And then the field's going to be the price. Before text, make that a $sign. No, it's not a repeater field or anything like that. HTML tags, we'll make that H3s. We'll go to advanced and we're going to make this up into the section. And then we're going to give it some margin on the left. Let's do 5. And then underneath of style, we're going to, of course, make this white so it's viewable, so it's visible. We'll give this a bold weight right there. And then we have all of those options there. So we have the price right there. So that, hey, have that. Let's go in and we're going to add an intersection. We're going to get rid of all of this margin at the top. Just so we have that. We can add those AE fields again, custom fields. We're going to do text, post, number of bedroom. And let's make sure that that's actually our field name real quick. So in order to do this, we have to go into our field name. Underneath the custom fields, field groups, and then our house group. We're looking to enter this. So that's why I wasn't showing it, because they're all underscores. Boom, there we go. So, and then we're going back to the design. We'll do an after text of bed. We're going to style this, make this like 12, 15, just so it's a little bit easier to read. We're going to make this intersection not have any gaps, just so it kind of goes to the edge. Delete this, and we're going to duplicate this a couple times. So we need to do bathrooms. And then we could do square footage, which is going to be this one right here. So we've got square foot. And of course we can add one more if we want to do acres. Boom. There we go. We've got that. Let's add a little bit more. So there we've got this section here. Let's add the address. Address there. Let's make sure we've got it here. Address, yep. Default is going to be ACF formatting. Delete this. We're going to do that AE custom field again. ACF fields. Address. Post field. Actually, we don't have to do the address because we have the AE title, because that's already the address. So we're just going to do that instead, because we can also make that the H2 element. Topography, let's make that smaller. Just show it kind of blends in a little bit. Bring that up some. Change this color to black. All right, there we go. Let's do no columns. And then for this, what we're going to do is we're going to make the background stand out a little bit. Too much. That's too much a little bit. Got that there. And then we can add some padding around it if we need to. So let's do 10 padding. Let's delete these and update this. And I know it looks funny. Like I said, we have to do it the way we do it. I don't know. It's just how it is. Okay. So now that we've got the AE template right here, what we need to do now is go underneath of our page that we had with our search, and we're going to edit that with Elementor. We're going to delete this, and we're going to search for a block widget. And we're going to use the AE post blocks. We want them to be, source would be houses. The block layout is the one we just did, single house post. So we've got that. We want the post count. We can put as many as we want. Let's do, I mean, we don't have 12, but we could put 12 there. Under layout, we want it to be grid. We could do pagination, and we want it to be 2 columns. So we've got that, or we can even do 1 column. We've got that option as well. We can also do a list view, so it will just do 1 right there. We have the row gap. We can control how much the row gap in between each one. No post message, no houses match your search. And then we've got that there. So we have all that there. So this is how we can allow us to customize how they show up on the search page right there. Let's see what we've got. We'll go to pages. So this unfortunately doesn't work with the Facet WordPress map widget, which sucks. But if you're not looking for the map widget, then you can of course just get rid of that. Otherwise, you'll have to use the Elementor post widget or the post archive right here. So you have that option too. But this is how you can customize the search, the look of your archives or your search or anything like that. So you have this option as well. Otherwise, you do posts, and then you would have your query be set to houses, and then you have that there. And then you want to make sure that Facet WordPress is turned on, of course. You have to have that turned on in order for it to work. Excerpt, turn on the read more, so we have that there. And then once we have that, like I said, we have that set, it'll show up in the search and the map as well. So we have that. So that's one way you can customize the way your houses appear on the front end. But it's not going to work with Facet WordPress, so you really have to just pick whichever one you need the more. The filtering with the map, or if you want to customize the look of the posts. Hopefully, Elementor comes out with a way that allows us to customize the skin of these posts. That would be really awesome. Or even just able to add custom fields into the meta right here. So we have the metadata right here. If we could just add custom ones right here, that would be perfect. But until that comes, we won't have that option to do that. If you guys have questions, let me know real quick before we hop off. This is pretty much done. Otherwise, just building your pages out, like your home page and things like that. So there's really not much to it. Just building your single pages, and your search page is the main part of the building a real estate site, and that's going to be the part that is the hardest. So like if you notice, we have the active here. If we go to edit house and we go down to the bottom and we list this to sold, update that, then it's going to update here on the front end right there. And you can make this big. There's a lot of things you could do to make it so that if for like conditions, so if the listing status is sold, then you can remove it from the front end of the website. You can also change the background image to be something different. There's a lot of different things you could do to make it so that it's dynamic. So if somebody marks it as sold, it removes it from the website completely. So you have those options as well. When you go into your Elementor search, you can do this. You can include by, if you make it a term, you can just make it so that you're including all of them. So there's a lot of different things you can do to include and exclude your data, so that people can see certain things on the front end of the website. So basically, that's basically how you build the real estate website. You've got your nice featured image up here, pricing, status, address, all of the information that they need, description, more information, more images, and a map. This is all you need. You got Astra and Elementor, and advanced custom fields, and then Facet WP, and you've got a website. So basically, Facet WP, $99 a year is the one you're going to need for that. And then of course you have your ACF, and if you go to ACF Pro and you view the pricing, it is $100 Australian, one-time payment. It is so cheap. I mean, that's if you want to do unlimited sites. Basically, it's if you want one website, 25 Australian, that's not bad at all. It's really not. I just went in and sprung for the developer because I was like, I'm going to use this on a lot. There's so much more you can do with advanced custom fields that I'm not going to get into in this video. But basically, have you ever used a theme where it has theme options, and then you put in like your logo, your phone number, your email, and it pulls it into the front end automatically? Well, you can actually do that with ACF. Yeah, there is definitely a compromise with custom posts in Elementor, so it's something that I'm sure they're working on. Hopefully, I don't know, but like I said, price for $100 Australian. Then you have $99 a year for Facet WP. It's really, really inexpensive to build your own real estate website. So 100 plus 99. Elementor Pro, however much you want to buy that. There's a bunch of different options for Elementor, and I'm just showing you guys this in case you have not purchased Elementor yet. I would definitely suggest doing so. $199 per year for quote unquote a limited sites, but who's really going to go over 1,000? For single site, $49, and so it's really, you can build a complete real estate website for under $200, and for something like that, you can charge, you know, several $1,000s to build a real estate website, because it's all about how much you're putting into it and how much experience you're showing them that you have. And they think that building a real estate website is going to be complex, so they're already thinking that they're going to be paying an arm and a leg to build that. And they're right. There's a lot of work that goes into it. But for us, we can build a real estate website in under an hour to have all the backbones done. So there's a lot that you can do. So like I said, under $200, build yourself a real estate website, one that actually functions the way you need it to function. You've got all of these key important things that you've got, and then of course you have your search, which is the most important part. You really have to make sure that search is working for your client, because if it's not, then it's not going to do them any good, and they're not going to pay you the money. I'm going off on a ramble, but anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys want us to, if you want to see us build any other types of websites, like I know a directory website is something that, you know, that gets asked around in all the groups. So building a directory type of website is something that's very popular, and it's basically the exact same way of building a real estate website. The hard part is all of the filters, and with Facet WP, being able to do all these filters is so easy with that plugin. So you have the search, you can do categories, you could sort by different things like if they're open or not, the ratings, business types. There's a lot that you can do, and then you have that map view over here, so you can actually see what the results are. So this is exactly the same as a real estate website. It's just you're not putting houses up there, you're just putting businesses, and you have all the same things. So if you actually break down a directory website, you have your post title, you have your business description, you just do your custom fields for each of these items. So your email, phone, website, and address, and then basically you could do all your social media as well. It's just that easy. You've got your gallery, things like that. You've got your map, categories. It's the exact same thing as building a real estate website. You're just switching it over and not putting houses on there. You're just putting businesses. And building this view is very easy. This is your featured image right here. You have a new section for logo that you pull in right here. Bookmarking and sharing and things like that. I didn't go over that, and I meant to. So let me just do that real quick. Sorry about that. You just edit your single house template with Elementor. Now the booking I don't have set up here. The bookmarking I don't have set up here, but there's a really simple plugin to do it. But if you want to add the sharing feature, then you can just go in and add share. Let's switch this up here. You have your sharing buttons right here. We want to just do the icon, columns, column alignment. We're going to do the button size of 12, 10. No, wait, I'm doing the wrong one. Icon size. Button height. I think there's some issues because it's not pulling in my icons. I think it's because of the font I was on 4 and all that. So got to make sure that we have that going. But basically, you have your share icons up here, and you can make it so it's sharing on the front end of the site. Bookmarking. There's a plugin that I found to do bookmarks, I'll post it in the comments or the description below. But it allows you to add bookmarks, and then people can actually view their wish list or their bookmark list from their account or things like that. That does have something where it could be guests or it could be sign in that they can bookmark things. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what other type of sites you may want us to see built, and then we'll go ahead and schedule those out. But basically, we're good to go. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next time.